Hi, welcome to Clear Picture Cares. I'm your host, Jason Noble, and with me today, I have Christina and Aaron from Waves for Women. The focus of this podcast is really to create awareness, engage our valued listeners and our clients and the people that are joining in our community, but also to help them engage into what's happening here in the Low Country. So I'm excited for this conversation and having you both with me today.
Thank you so much. We are so excited to be here today.
So share me your roles within Waves for Women.
Yeah, so I'm Erin Jones, and I am the co-founder, and I'm a clinical social worker, so I'm actually the director of the program.
Okay.
And I started off as a volunteer, and now I work with the board. I'm the board president, and just love working with this organization on the beach and with other women, empowering them. It's great.
Absolutely. Well, so what is the primary focus of Ways for Women?
Yeah, so our focus is working with women and girls and promoting social, emotional, and physical well-being through the use of surfing and outdoor wellness groups, building community, and utilizing environmentally friendly practices.
And it's just a way to bring women together, get out on the beach. And I mean, just being in nature. So getting to the beach improves our wellness. So getting out there and then bringing them together and having discussions. And we were talking earlier, just every clinic is different, even though if this is, we do a 4-week clinic, different topics, but the women that come in really make our program because they bring their own perspectives and teach all of us how to be more mindful and how to interact and be more healthy. So
I want to dive in a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did our dive in. Okay, so what I'm getting in is when you say like the programs are different, topics are different. Like, what are some of the topics that can be discussed within the program?
So we choose topics that we know can be learned through surfing. So topics that can be learned through trying this outdoor adventure experience. So we're taking women who've never surfed mostly and teaching them this new skill. And we want to pick things like mindfulness, so being present in the moment, mindset, what am I saying to myself about this situation as I'm learning this new skill, as I'm getting in the water, becoming adaptive, how am I adaptive, how am I resilient, what are my strengths? So those are some of the skills, and we want them to be skills that they can learn and practice while they're learning to surf and spending time together, but also that they're going to pull into their daily life. I know I'm missing some important topics, but
right. And I mean, a big thing with surfing in the ocean is overcoming fear. So all these mindsets and these different practices of we all experience fear, but really empowering them to be like, I might be scared right now, but I can do this. And so encouraging them, providing this safe environment, having a safe instructor or, a surf instructor right next to you, helping you out. And so it helps them overcome that fear. And that's the main thing to move ahead and grow in life is to
you have that fear and anxiety, right? And we have a lot of that right now in our society. I would say just talking in generalities, but you got to share with us when they overcome the fear, especially the new ones that never surfed before, they have overcome that. How do they come out of the water different than when they went into the water?
A lot of times they're coming out and they're energized, they're excited, they're wanting to kind of, you see a lot of like really wanting to talk and connect afterwards and kind of share what they've been through, what they just experienced.
Yeah, it kind of opens up that connection. Like, oh my gosh, like especially some of them that didn't even know if they could surf and they've stood up on the surfboard. It's just like this excitement. And it's so wonderful. Like once, you go through when you're learning something and it's so exciting, but then after you reach a certain level, but teaching other people to surf and seeing how excited they are, it's like you're learning all over again, like the excitement and everybody's cheering and it really builds a camaraderie. It's a great.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. I'm okay. I'm really liking what we're talking about. Is there anything that you wish more people knew about your organization that you want to share with us?
I think for me, we say surfing, and I think for a lot of people that word is intimidating. I mean, we both of us actually grew up in the Midwest, so we did not grow up surfing, and so I think it's important that women know that this is really geared towards women who haven't surfed before, maybe have spent a little bit of time in the ocean, but really what we're doing is we're working with women. We're using surfing as a way to teach these life skills, these wellness skills, and to build community. So you don't have to be a a skilled surfer. And surfing can mean a wide range of things. So people come out, and for some people, that just means they're getting in the water. Maybe they're laying on the board and riding it in on their belly. It might mean they're popping on their knees. It might mean they're standing up. It's like for everyone, it's a different experience. Yeah.
And then I think another important part is just that connection with the ocean when you're out, the whole nature-based kind of therapy. The ocean is providing this therapy, just being there, the salt water, the salt air, and just feeling that connection. It connects you with other people. It connects you with your own soul. And it's just a wonderful experience all around. So
what I'm really picking up is like, it's a transferable skill that they could bring back into their life, in their daily life, or even their work life. And so it's beyond, I would say, surfing. It's really about a community / like even maybe a tribe.
Yes. So I ask women when they express an interest in coming out, they fill out a short intake form, and we ask, what do you want to get out of this? And for almost everyone, what they say is, I want to create relationships. I want to build community. I want to feel less isolated. I want to feel more connected. And they may or may not want to surf, continue surfing indefinitely, but that's just that tool.
I think you hit it really well there too, that it's not just surfing. It's really about tapping into, like, we believe every person and every woman has this inner resiliency and the strength to heal, the strength to grow, the strength to thrive. So we really want to tap into that. And that's our big mission.
Yeah.
So like, how old would one have to be before they came and joined this community? Is there an age minimum or like that?
For our women's clinics, we say 18 and over. And we've had, a lot of women in 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. When we run girls clinics, then we should have a set age range for that.
Okay.
So we've done middle school age girls. We've worked with high school age girls. So we're specific with regards to the age range for girls, and for women, it's 18 and over.
Okay, so there is clinics for different groups, but then on a more consistent basis, it would be 18 and older for the waves for women.
For the women's clinics.
For the women's clinics. What are some of the events that y'all may have coming up that we could look into and check out?
We're starting up for the summer our Floral Fridays, and that's actually open to everyone, families, all ages, all genders, no genders.
Okay.
However, it's just to support. You wear bright colors. Fluoro, it's an international movement. The surfer in Australia started it 10 years ago, and it's bringing visibility with these bright colors and happiness, brightness to this invisible mental health. So it's peer-to-peer support for mental health, and then awareness of. So those are Fridays. Sorry,
That's on Fridays.
Folly Beach. It's Beach Access 5W and 5:30, and probably going to start 7 a.m. But if you go to the website, which is just waves4women.org, we'll have more information about that event and some other upcoming.
Yeah, we've got, so the month of July and the month of August, we have clinics on Tuesday mornings and Saturday mornings from 8 to 10. We actually have Thursday morning clinics that actually pull in, it's run by an occupational therapist, so they actually pull in a little bit more of like emotional regulation skills.
Okay.
And we've actually we have a partnership with a female-run surf school out in Isle Palms. So we'll have a clinic out in Isle Palms. We share the Stoke on July 8th. So there's a lot of ongoing programs, and then we'll also have some like one-time community-based programs.
That's okay. I love that you have that diversity in the different programs that I may resonate with one or another one, and they could go and go to the one that they would resonate with the most. So Waves, WAVES 4, and then the number 4, and then WOMEN.org. Okay,
Yes.
just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Now, would you say would make the greatest difference for your organization to get better at what it does than what you're doing now? What is that improvement that you're looking at making?
We'd like to be able to spread the word about the organization and what we're doing so that we can reach a broader range of women and girls. And really for us, that's, as we can spread the word. So thank you for this, because that's a big piece of it, honestly, is like spreading the word about what we're doing. Because we know that we can collaborate with with a range of organizations, and that they're accessing mental health and wellness services can be really, really challenging for women and for girls. The other piece of it for us is also reaching a more diverse audience. So that's an important piece of it as well, is making sure we're making this financially accessible. So that's where donations help. And also just making it, feasible and available, and let people know this is a resource that exists.
Yeah. Well, getting the word out is so important.
Yeah.
And a lot of nonprofits and charities, and then it's being able to reach your target audience. And I'm glad that we're able to have this conversation to see how we can help with that endeavor. Also, the partnership with ABC4 has been awesome as well. I'm looking forward to all the seeing you on TV as well, and then hearing you on this, and then also on the radio show. So hopefully we get out to the right community that hears this, and then they can take that action and that step. One of the things that I look at with a lot of organizations is you may have the infrastructure in place, right, with leadership, but you're looking to have, to your point, more connection within the community, but then also more donations. So let's say someone's really engaged into what you're doing, but they're not where they want to be in the water. Yeah. They have a fear for water or something. Is there something that they can still be part of the community and maybe not go into the water, or, go to the ankles maybe?
Yeah.
Definitely. Like all of our programs, like even when we have an open surf, like we invite anyone who is interested in coming and joining us. If you want to just walk on the beach, bring, some of our events are for families, bring your kids. If you just, go into your knees, that's fine. Like we welcome anyone who wants to, like, ocean loving people.
Well, so. Yeah. And so for like participants, like it's accessible. We can, participants can come out even if they're uncertain. If women and girls want to, check it out and they're not sure about actually getting into surf. But also for volunteers, it's great because we do take volunteers who are adult women that teach surfing, but we also take volunteers that we call it water support, and they're there just to cheer on the women surfing.
And that's just as important. That's awesome.
Water support, right? Like we need that. So that's another way that people can get involved in the community.
Okay, all right. If you could leave an impression with our listeners about the value of giving back to the community, something I always like to ask. From your perspective, what value do you get, or the value that the community gets when people give back to the community like you're doing with Waves for Women?
You want to go? Well, so I guess two things I'm thinking of. One, I think as a volunteer, like when you are the person that's volunteering or giving back, I think it feels good. It feels good to know that you're making a difference in whatever way works for you, because that's a wide range. We don't all have the ability to give financially, or maybe we can give financially, but we don't have the time. So like whatever way you can give, it's very powerful to feel like you are part of this broader community. And I think also for the community, part of what we're doing is really building up emotional wellness and resilience for women and girls. And that affects everyone. That affects families, that affects communities. So that's a huge piece.
Yeah. And I think giving back, the way I look at it, is like it recognizes that connection that we all have to each other. And so just in giving, then you're saying, I am connected to you. And I think that's a beautiful, especially coming out of the COVID, and everyone's kind of been isolated, and trying to really connect with people again can be really hard. There's a lot of people experiencing a lot of grief right now. So just the more connection heals. It's been proven by science. And so I see giving back as just honoring that connection and bringing people together. So.
Well, it's a physical activity within a group as well. And I think there's added benefits, but the added benefit that I think that I didn't know before we had our conversation that I'm learning about is also being outside. Mm-hmm. Do you have any information on like the value of being outside in a community-based environment? What does that do?
It's exciting because there's a lot more research that's coming out. And we're actually, part of an international surf therapy organization, but there's a lot of research that's coming out where we're collecting data that's talking about, they call it the benefits of blue mind, so being near water, and they'll say, green mind or green spaces, being outdoors. So there's so much research that talks about being physically active, but specifically in nature.
in nature. And I wish I've read a couple articles, but I can't remember the titles or the
Yeah.
authors. But I just heard, I think they did, like, one of the studies is that, like, we spend 80% of our time indoors. And so, like, just getting outside can be part of your starting a healthier lifestyle. So
I could attest to that in my own career.
Yeah.
I'm inside a lot.
Yeah.
I'm behind the camera.
Get outside. Yeah.
You gotta get outside.
Yeah. You can go for it. Yeah.
Right. But I like your workspace a little bit more, right?
Yeah,
I got
you
4
can
walls.
visit.
No, so being outside, I think is so important, and it's when I can, I try to do my client appointments outside.
Oh, nice.
But you can't be wearing a suit in Charleston,
It would be
right?
pretty uncomfortable.
It would be
Yeah.
pretty- So roll up the sleeves and that. But then like the computer will like start to die really quick, and so then at this point it's like, okay, I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna print out the presentation and just hand it to them.
I think
Go
that's
back to
valid.
the 1990s.
Yeah. We support you doing that.
Yeah. Being outside,
As long as it's
absolutely
recycled
is.
paper.
Yes,
That's right. You got to make sure to recycle the paper. Absolutely right. Or shred it. Make sure
Yeah.
no personal information. Now, if someone wanted to get involved in your organization, right? Like, either that be volunteering, like you mentioned, donating, being a participant, being out there. Like, where would they go? What would they do? How would they learn more about your organization?
So really, going to the website that we mentioned before, the www.waves4women.org. On there is information. They can actually click at the top and it'll list, to click on to donate or to click on to get information about our
Connect.
Programs, to connect. They can just they'll click on connect. They can fill out a form, and based on if they'd like to volunteer, if they'd like to participate, if they'd like to be a community partner. So that information's on there. And then we've got social media as well, that Instagram and Facebook, that shows more info as
Yeah,
well.
so go to Instagram, go to
Yeah.
Facebook. You
Yeah.
can see pictures. And
Yeah, you
what's
can see
going on
videos of
there.
some of the clinics and some of the surfing and
Yep.
the wellness discussions, and yeah,
Just add Waves for Women to your friends right there on
that
Facebook.
is right.
That's
That's
the
what
way
you
to
should
do that. See it,
Instagram and Facebook,
and
just
go
add.
right to the website.
Yes.
I saw your website link on your Facebook page, so that
Yes.
they could go to Facebook.
can.
They could go from there and then see the other places to connect with you. It's
That's it.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Any last words for our listeners? Because I definitely enjoyed our conversation today, and I really appreciate you bringing. What I was looking at was more of that community, surfing community. What I love that you brought light to was a lot of the people will be like first time
Oh yeah.
or very new into this. Well, I do have a question, then I want last words. Do they have to bring their own surfboards or? how
No,
does that
and that's
work?
such a good question. How did we not say that? Yeah. So part of what we're actually providing for them, good question, is that we provide the equipment. So
Awesome.
they show up and they get an email from us that says, show up in your swimsuit, towel, sun lotion, water bottle. We have the rest. So we're going to provide that for them to make that more accessible.
Yes.
And really just, I'd like people to remember, please, if you have questions, reach out via the website, social media. And really, this is something that's set up for any women and girls who've experienced stress, anxiety, trauma. I mean, really, that's all of us. We've all experienced these things, that are looking for community. And most of our women and girls have not surfed before. So.
Yeah. And I would say, I did forget one of our programs. It's upcoming on July 3rd. We're having a full moon surf.
Oh, that's going to be really cool.
yeah.
So it's an honoring. We're just starting this Honoring the Ocean series. So it's going to go full moons and equinox and solstice. And it's really about a time to connect, like get away from the linear schedules and like, got to be here, got to do this, and connecting with these rhythms of nature and honoring our world and the whole getting outside, bringing people outside. And that's, if you have a surfboard, bring it, and we'll do a surf if the ocean's letting us surf.
Yeah, it's allowing us to
We'll
do
see.
so. Yeah.
And then, but if you don't, we're going to do some like moon salutations, and sometimes we do meditations or do a breathing practice to people can learn how, these are more skills that the wellness part of it, of like giving people skills that they can take into their everyday life. So we would love to have people out there on the full moon night. I call it a howl party.
Yeah.
Get your howl
Thank
on.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, you heard it here. Okay, so We have Christina, the president, Aaron, the founder. I'm your host, Jason Noble. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. It was a pleasure and honor of mine to have our esteemed guest with us today, talking about what you're doing for the community. Keep it going. Really love it. And let's get more women and girls involved in Waves for Women.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jason.
It's a pleasure.